Greater Tipraland. For some, it's just a political term. For others, it is the loudest cry for justice, survival, and dignity. Tripura, a small but beautiful state in northeast India, is home to one of the most unique indigenous groups in South Asia, the Tipra people. But today, they face an existential crisis. Their language is under threat. Their lands are slowly disappearing. Their identity, something that has lasted for centuries, is fighting to stay alive. This is not just a local issue. This is about cultural survival, about the right of a people to exist with dignity in their own homeland. In this documentary, we explore the history of Tripura, the struggles of the Tipra, and why the demand for Greater Tipraland is not just politics, but a matter of survival. To understand Greater Tipraland, let's first look at its history. For more than 500 years, Tripura was ruled by the Manakya dynasty, one of the longest continuous dynasties in India. The kingdom stretched far beyond the borders of today's Tripura. At its height, Tripura included parts of what is now Sylhet and Chittagong in present-day Bangladesh. The Manakya kings were known for their unique blend of tribal traditions and Hindu influence. They preserved the Kokborok language, encouraged art and culture, and ruled with a system that kept Tipra identity intact. Tripura was not like other regions that fell under direct British rule. It remained a princely state, which meant its internal administration stayed largely independent until 1949. But everything was about to change. After the death of Maharani Kanchan Prava, and with rising political instability, Tripura signed the Instrument of Accession and merged with India on the 15th of October, 1949. This was meant to secure peace, but it also opened the gates to a new and challenging era for the Tipra. After the merger, the state faced an unexpected wave of migration. The partition of India in 1947 created millions of refugees, and many of them entered Tripura through its porous borders. When East Pakistan became Bangladesh in 1971, another wave of refugees arrived. The demographic impact was massive. In the early 1900s, Tipra made up more than 80% of Tripura's population. But by the 1980s, they had become a minority, less than 30%. Imagine that. Becoming a minority in your own homeland within just a few decades. With population change came new challenges. Forest lands were cleared to settle refugees. Many tribal families lost their ancestral land. Kokborok, the indigenous language, began to decline in use. The Tipra people saw their political power shrinking and their culture pushed to the sidelines. It was only a matter of time before tensions boiled over. In the 1970s and 80s, the situation reached a breaking point. Tribal resentment turned into organized resistance. Groups like the Tripura National Volunteers, TNV, took up arms, demanding restoration of tribal rights and land. These were dark years for Tripura. Violence, clashes, and bloodshed marked this era. Thousands of people, both tribals and non-tribals, lost their lives. The Indian government responded with negotiations. In 1988, the Tripura National Volunteers laid down arms after a peace accord, and in 1982, the Tripura Tribal Areas Autonomous District Council, TADC, was created under the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution. The ADC was meant to give tribals a measure of self-governance, but its powers were limited. It could not make crucial decisions on land laws, policing, or resource management without state government approval. So while peace returned, the root causes remained. This is where the demand for Greater Tipraland comes in. Greater Tipraland is not about separating from India. It is not about throwing anyone out. It is a demand for a constitutional solution under Article 244A, similar to what exists in Bodoland in Assam. It would upgrade the existing ADC into a full-fledged territorial council with more autonomy, allowing Tipra people to protect their ancestral lands from illegal encroachment, promote Kokborok and other indigenous languages in schools, plan development according to their needs: roads, hospitals, schools, jobs, ensure fair political representation. In simple words, Greater Tipraland is about survival with dignity. It is a way to secure Tiprasa identity while coexisting peacefully with other communities in Tripura. But to truly understand the need, we must look beyond numbers and policies, we must hear the people. Meet a farmer from the hills who lost his jum land to encroachment. Today, he works as a daily laborer just to feed his family. Meet a school teacher who still teaches Coke Borak to children even though there are no proper books or resources. She worries that in 20 years, her students may only speak Bengali or Hindi, forgetting their mother tongue. Meet a young graduate from Kumulung who dreams of becoming an engineer but has no proper college nearby, so he thinks of leaving the state. He says, "I want to build a future here, not somewhere else." These are not just stories. They are cries for help, and Greater Tipraland is seen as the answer. With Greater Tipraland, the Tiprasa people envision a future full of opportunity, safety, and cultural pride. Coke Borak will be taught in every school, ensuring the language thrives among the next generation. Land rights will be fully respected, giving families security and the freedom to farm or build their communities. Young people will find jobs locally, so they won't have to leave their homeland to pursue their dreams. Tribal traditions, festivals, and cultural practices will continue to flourish, celebrated proudly across the state. Development will reach every corner, not just urban Agartala, but also the remote villages under the ADC. Most importantly, every member of the community, especially women, will live free from harassment, suppression, and violence. Assault, abuse, and exploitation will no longer threaten the safety of Tiprasa women. All communities, tribal and non-tribal, will coexist peacefully, supporting each other and building a future together. Greater Tipraland is not just a demand, it is a dream. A dream where a people who once ruled this land do not have to beg for survival. Where their songs, dances, and language do not become museum artifacts. Where their children can live with dignity, and their elders can pass down culture without fear of losing it. The world has seen what happens when cultures are lost, they never come back. So when you hear about Greater Tipraland, do not think of it as a threat. Think of it as a chance to correct history and to give a people their rightful space. Share this message, talk about it, and spread awareness. Because when a culture dies, we all lose a piece of humanity.